Good morning, everybody. Good day, good ava, good evening. Been a while since I've done a video on the road. We'll just make this a short segment because I'm going on a bushwalk today, and I wanted to try out something that I've been meaning to do for this channel for a while, and I haven't got around to it yet. So I'm going on this bushwalk, right? And apparently it's a really difficult one. I've never done it before. It's for experienced only, it says, and I think it could take anywhere between sort of 6 and 8 hours to do. And it's a waterfall shoot, and I think there's like about 800 meters down and up. Yeah, tiring stuff. And anyway, last night or the night before, I was getting my bag ready and putting my usual gear in the bag, and I got the tripod, and I just thought, fuck, this is just so heavy. My tripod's not a carbon fiber one. It's a nice tripod. It's really sturdy. I think it's a videographer tripod. I can't remember the brand. Is it Gazelle or something like that? And it's nice and quick to kind of assemble, and it's only got like two lock levers, and then you're fully extended out. It's pretty high, pretty tall. I think the likes of Thomas Heaton and some other photographers, I've seen them with the same tripod, but there's undoubtedly a carbon. And my ball head, even the ball head, is just really, really heavy. Anyway, and it's just such an annoying thing, the tripod, especially when one that isn't carbon and compact. I find, the ones that are super compact, they have more locks or things to twist, so they take longer to kind of set up for the shot. So anyway, I thought this was a really good opportunity to test, put my money where my mouth is and really see if I can get some decent landscape shots just with me and the camera and no tripod, especially on a difficult, tricky kind of subject like a waterfall. So, I get it. I mean, some cameras, like I've got some medium format cameras that don't have any image stabilization. So I think they get really necessary to use a tripod for that camera. f2.8 glass is the fastest they have. High ISO, it does worse, etc., etc. So, but I'm going to use the K1 today, and the K1, I'll take a couple lenses, a 50mm and a 31mm, and I'll see what I can get, because I might be able to get right down to a quarter of a second, with the image stabilization on, to get some nice, relatively good slow-mo. I'm quite fussy with my waterfall shots as to what I think looks good. You can go for that, 10 seconds, 5 seconds, 20 seconds, whatever, long exposure where the water gets all milky, but it's a bit done to death for me a little bit. Or you can go for the over like a thousandth of a second and kind of freeze that water in motion. I think that's quite cool, but the problem with that is sometimes waterfalls can be quite dark in the down in there, and to shoot out a thousandth of a second might mean you have to be at a very wide aperture like 1.8 and still get 3200 ISO or something like that. So it just depends. But I thought it'd be an interesting exercise, and I thought this definitely sounds like an opportunity to just shed some weight and take a smaller bag. The other thing I'm reminded of is I watched a video a couple of days ago, one at a bookmark that I think's really cool, which is a wedding photographer reported on his experience of just shooting the entire wedding on one lens, just one 50mm prime for the whole day. And I do weddings as well occasionally, so that was kind of, that's goals for me. I don't feel as I'm quite there yet. I do shoot primes with weddings, but I am lens swapping a bit and a couple of bodies. But he's got really good points in his video, and that kind of freedom of just being with one camera body and one lens on your person. Maybe you've got a bag nearby or something, with your second body in case it all does go wrong. But he says, you're really in the moment, and I really relate to that. You can zone in with that and not really think about lights or technicalities, and you're actually just capturing moments. And I thought, that's probably kind of applicable to a lot of things. I know in landscape, sometimes I see a really nice light falling a certain way, and I take too long to get the tripod out of the bag and set it up and put the camera on it. The light's gone. Sometimes I think I should have just taken the damn shot. I probably didn't need the tripod as much as I thought, or who cares if it was going to be a 1600 ISO shot. I would have at least have had it. So so that's my that's the theme of today's video. I'll sign off now. I'm just rambling, and I'll maybe the next time I'll get some footage down in on the walk itself, and maybe a little bit of processing. Keen to see what I get. The only thing I would like to add is, like I said, I can be a bit picky with my waterfall speeds, and I quite like finding this middle ground where it's slow but not too slow, and I'm hoping that maybe no tripod is going to give me. I'm going to be able to get that, as a shot. So see how I do. All right. So yeah, next time I speak, maybe down at a waterfall. Catch you later.
I saw that. Head and shoulders, dandruff warriors, scalp and chips, scalp chicken in the baskets. Head and shoulders, dandruff warriors, scalp and chips, scalp chicken in the baskets. Bound to a life of ciggies, toilet every 10 minutes. Your liver doesn't live at all, it's a gallstone with a small makeshift motion. Head and shoulders, acid rain, cheap lotions. Head and shoulders, dandruff warriors, scalp and chips, scalp chicken in the baskets. Head and shoulders, dandruff warriors, scalp and chips, scalp chicken in the baskets. Green rot at the bottom of the fence, mobile mats, palm trees, tents, temporary lights conduct the flow around permanent landslide. Jelly belly, dissonance, you know the image, you know the six pack, you know the big breasts. Head and shoulders, dandruff warriors, scalp chips, scalp chicken in the baskets. My body's turning me on, I've got a touch on. My body's turning me on, I've got touch on. My body's turning me on, I've got touch on. Gannick, 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 Gannick. Take it on, tan it on the skies. The layer of night, it's caked in size. Take it on past the eyes, don't match. The layer of night and underpass. Head and shoulders, 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 head and shoulders. Very few see red, the public want, public dead. No bother with you, you were mortal too. Right wing, big bobber, strife and bother. A motto, Motorola. Over the Toblerone, secret icebox. All the arrows, I like mine in a packet. Mint flavour, no zeros, habit culture. Back on the phone, back on the phones, working torture. You don't mind, I don't mind, balls up. Down yours, down mine. Diana shoulders, head and 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 shoulders.
Well, just want to do a quick summary. I wanted to do a summary back in the car on the way home. I was absolutely knackered. I think I'd also used up most of my charge of the battery for the video recorder thing that I had with me. So no video on the way back in the car. Exhausting. I started that walk at 8 in the morning, finished at 4:30 p.m. So thank God I did not take my gigantic heavy tripod. It would have been the death of me, honestly. That was brutal. I found that really tough. I think hats off to the two gentlemen I was with, Alan and Emmanuel. I mean, one of them's retired like 10 years and the other one's retiring this year. Phenomenal fitness from those gentlemen. I was the one just struggling to keep up with them all the time. I've got absolutely no excuse. I used to work in the fitness industry, so why I'm just getting, my fitness is just obviously crap today. I'm just not nearly in the same shape as I used to be. So yeah, I made the right call, I think, just to even just finish the walk and not get airlifted out. It was just as the nature of the Blue Mountains where I live is. You often start the walk at the top and you're walking down, descending 800 meters down and then back up or something like that, and over 10 kilometers of scrambling terrain at times. Just, yeah, difficult stuff. But those gentlemen sure showed me, and I had a great day with those two guys, and I hope to do another one with them soon. You can also learn a lot from these old timers. Just when you pull up to the location, just wait, just watch them set up their tripods and steal all their compositions. So thanks, guys. But no, I mean, in hindsight, maybe a smaller tripod. I've got plenty of them kicking around. That would have done the job, or even the one that my camera's sitting on right now for recording. That would have done. That's a lighter one. But it was certainly a really good exercise to kind of see what I could get. So pros and cons. With that, not having that weight, obviously huge pro, and the setup time, I was taking way more shots that day. I actually have my sling bag on the front of me most of the time, so I could just reach in and get that camera and take the shot. Now, I don't think that's necessarily a tripod pro or con. You could still have your camera close to your person and access. But I think a lot of people do tend to have a backpack, a photography backpack when they go on these hikes, or the camera's in the backpack. And so if you see something, you have to take it off, put it down on the floor first, and get it out and do all that setup time and tripods for those moments. And sometimes light can be, especially in the forest, it can be very fleeting. You can get some light through the clouds coming through. Things are looking great. You've got to get that shot quickly. Messing around with tripods can, I think, minimize that chance of that happening. So definitely there was you got more, you shot more, I feel, without a tripod. You can take the shots more. Downside is, I think it's actually quite hard work shooting at low shutter speed. I mean, I wasn't really, all those shots were just handheld. I wasn't even leaning against a rock or bracing, but it can be tricky. You tense up, I think, when you're taking you're trying to do the relaxed breathing and all that kind of stuff, but you are very still and trying to be very, still for the slow shutter speeds. And over a course of, 8 hours or whatever, I felt my spine start to ache. It reminded me of a little bit like when I do the weddings. I was getting that kind of fatigue of working all day with the camera. So it was quite tough like that. On a tripod, it's a lot easier. You just dock the camera, use live view or whatever, you zoom in, get critical focus, then hit the shutter. And often it's just 1-2 shots, you're done. I felt as though I was quadrupling, tripling that amount of frames. I was taking 6 or 7 slow shutter speeds and trying different shutter speeds as well. So I ended up working quite a lot for the shot. I could get set up for the shot quicker because I'm not messing around, but I would be taking more frames. Therefore, you may be also culling more or inspecting your files a little bit more than knowing you just put the camera in a tripod and took the shot. So yeah, that was kind of interesting to sort of see. I think that was what was interesting for me is part of the exercise of doing this was I wanted to see what I could do handheld with that shutter speed, because I'm a little bit over this kind of stupidly ultra slow-mo kind of waterfall stuff where the water just turns milky. Done that, been there. It's good, but it can get a little bit kind of abstracty and lack realism. And I think the kind of shutter speeds, you can still get these shutter speeds, of course, in a tripod. This is not so much to do with tripod, but I wanted to see if handheld I could get kind of the motion that I wanted, something that showed that it was flowing, fast flowing, but also maybe sort of start to see those beads of water pinging off rocks and things like that. I think I got that, and I think that's quite cool to manage to get that without the tripod. I think anything that you do with slow-mo, and any genre of photography that deals with motion, I think you've got to kind of capture a sense of motion with your images. So, if it's a sprinter, a racetrack, or a car, or something like that, you want to practice those panning shots so you get the athlete pin sharp, but the background's not just blurred, but motion blurred. It's showing, some kind of sense of speed. Or conversely, the opposite, if you're doing, say a rugby match or something, they're all jumping up for the ball, you freeze all that shot, so everybody is frozen in time. So that's kind of like a pure photography where you're really just freezing time and you can just look at that moment in time. That's cool too. And I think that's what I was trying to do with the faster shutter speeds with the waterfalls. You want to really just freeze those droplets, or you get some kind of sense of motion. And I think that's where I feel if you work in either of those extremes, that's where it gets good for motion. I think if you're not controlling your camera and the settings and just kind of shooting, that you risk falling into this kind of no man's land where all the motion looks kind of garbage and just kind of rubbishy. It's hard to explain what I mean, but it just feels like it's not natural, it's not right. And so I try to avoid that. But I'm rambling now, so I'll just sign off. Good learning experience for me going forward. I don't actually know if I would invest in a carbon fiber tripod and spend the thousands of dollars that they cost. Maybe a little one's fine, and you just compromise a little bit on your composition. There's always a boulder or a tree or something you could use, like either of these, something like that. These are cheap and cheerful. Depends on the camera. I do have a medium format camera, so it would definitely need a tripod for almost every single shot, even the boring ones that aren't waterfall, just because it's f2.8, it's its fastest. It could be dim light. It doesn't do ISO very well, so you want to keep the base ISO as much as possible, things like that. So it is always about, just when you leave the house and what your mission is that day and what you want to achieve. But I think maybe just a smaller, lighter tripod, not necessarily a carbon fiber one that costs $1 billion, that would probably be fine. And I would maybe take that next time, or just know what I can get handheld now and just go, that's fine, I'll just go out. I think really it was just the brutality of that 8 till 4:30 walking. I was so tired. I think I got home about 5:30 and one beer, one bath, and I was in bed by 7. I mean, pathetic. Anyway, I'll sign off now, and please leave a comment below if you got something to say about the images. Hit like, hit subscribe, all helps. And till next time, thanks very much.